Alright, so Monster Train 2 just dropped 6 brand new clans, the Banished, the Pyreborn, the Lunar Coven, the Underlegion, and the Lazarus League. And honestly, it's wild how much they shake up the game. With these fresh additions, there are now 180 possible clan combos to experiment with, which means the number of strategies and playstyles just exploded. If you're aiming to beat Covenant 10 on every single combo, well, good luck. That's a serious grind and probably the hardest achievement out there. We've been diving deep into testing all kinds of clan mashups, trying to figure out which ones truly stand out. Spoiler alert, every clan has its own perks and quirks, which makes ranking them pretty tricky. But hey, we've cooked up a work in progress tier list of what we think are the most broken clans. And by broken, we mean in a good way, the kind that make your runs feel unstoppable. Stick around because we're about to break down what's making these clans shine and which ones you'll want to try first. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking clans in Monster Train 2. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The clans in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Hellhorned and Stygian Guard. Alright, let's talk about the clans that don't exactly steal the spotlight, but still bring some quirky vibes to the table. You know, the C tier contenders in Monster Train 2. These clans aren't the easiest to master, and yeah, they might not flex the biggest muscles, but with a bit of brainpower and some clever moves, they can definitely shake things up on your train. First up, the Hellhorned clan. Now, I'll be honest, their spells and units don't exactly scream game changer at first glance. They kind of hang out in the background looking a bit underwhelming compared to the flashy clans, but don't sleep on their imps. These little guys are like the annoying younger siblings you can't get rid of. Cheap, quick to spawn, and surprisingly versatile. If you play your cards right, they can swarm the battlefield and chip away at your enemies before they even know what hit them. One of the Hellhorned's secret weapons is the Hidden Passage card. This nifty trick lets you ascend units between floors of your train, which sounds simple but opens up a whole new layer of tactical depth. Imagine juggling your forces between floors, managing threats and setting up ambushes. It's like playing 3 mini-games at once, and if you can master it, you'll start feeling like the conductor of a very chaotic but effective Monster Express. Switching tracks to the Stygian Guard, Now here's a clan that feels like it's trying really hard but just can't quite get there. Their Frostbite mechanic, which slows enemies down and chips at their health, sounds cool, but honestly, it pales in comparison to other debuffs like Decay and Sap that hit harder or have bigger effects. So Frostbite ends up feeling kind of like the friendly but not so helpful neighborhood cat. Cute, but not exactly life-saving. That said, the Stygian Guard have some hidden gems tucked away. Their mute cards are pretty slick, letting you silence enemy abilities. This can be a total lifesaver in boss fights where one wrong move means instant death. Imagine shutting down a boss's most annoying attack. It's like hitting the mute button on your noisy roommate. Instant peace. And if you're looking for chaos, the Eel Gorgon from Stygian Guard is your best bet. With the right buffs and spells, this slippery little serpent can turn into a multi-strike beast, hitting enemies multiple times in one go. It's like turning your quiet librarian into a heavy metal rocker. Unexpected and wildly entertaining. So yeah, these C-tier clans might not be your first pick for a quick win, but with some extra brain cells and a sprinkle of creativity, they can definitely pull off some surprisingly satisfying plays. They reward patience and planning, and honestly, isn't that what Monster Train 2 is all about? The clans in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Lazarus League, Pyreborn, Awoken, and Melting Remnant. Alright, so you think you know versatility? Wait until you meet the Lazarus League. These guys are like the Swiss Army knife of Monster Train 2 clans. They don't just bring potions, they bring whole laboratories of magical concoctions that can reanimate your units, boost their regeneration, or even weaken your enemies with sap, decay, and all sorts of unstable craziness. The real magic here is the mix mechanic, which lets you whip up different combinations on the fly. But heads up, mastering them is like learning to juggle flaming torches while riding a unicycle. Tricky, but oh so satisfying. Now, sliding into the spotlight is the Pyreborn clan. If you love making your enemies regret stepping into melee range, this one's your jam. They specialize in something called Pyregal, which basically makes enemies weaker when they try to punch your units face to face. The coolest part? Stacking the Dragon Horde for extra loot and buffs. Imagine building a giant dragon-shaped fortress of cash and power that just steamrolls everything in its path. Pair them up with melee clans like the Banished, and you have a recipe for a devastating frontline party. Speaking of giant units and serious healing, the Awoken clan is here to remind you that size does matter. These guys bring some massive, imposing units to the battlefield, like the Awoken Hollow and the Fawned Hollow that soak up damage like pros, but it's not just about muscle. They have a ton of healing and regeneration spells. Pairing them with the Lunar Coven clan is like calling in the Avengers of Rejuvenation. Trust me, you'll be basking in so much healing synergy, you'll wonder if you accidentally stepped into a spa instead of a war zone. Then there's the Melting Remnant, which is like the ultimate party trick for summoners. Their burnout mechanic lets you constantly summon units, kind of like a never-ending parade of fiery minions. Early game, the Lady of the House is an absolute beast with a whopping base stat of 45 attack and 45 health. Buff her up with a Merchant of Steel, and suddenly you have a unit that's basically the equivalent of a wrecking ball with legs. Plus, if you get the right combos going, the Devourer of Death turns into a monster that just eats everything for breakfast. Let's be real though, the Lazarus League's versatility isn't just a gimmick, it's the kind of clan that rewards creativity and adaptability. Want to debuff your foes with decay? You got it. Need a quick regeneration boost on a key unit? No problem. The mix mechanic really opens up a ton of playstyle options, but don't get cocky. If you're not careful, the complexity can trip you up and leave you scratching your head mid-battle. For the Pyreborn, stacking Dragon Horde isn't just a tactic, it's a lifestyle. Imagine slowly hoarding treasure until you have a literal mountain of gold backing your every move. That Greed Dragon? It's like the grand finale fireworks of this clan. A huge, unstoppable unit that just bulldozes through the opposition. If you love watching numbers explode and enemies crumble, Pyreborn is like your personal fireworks show every game. Awoken units are like tanks with a heart of gold. Their huge health pools make them fantastic frontline defenders, but the real kicker is the healing synergy. When paired with Lunar Coven's Rejuvenate spells, it feels like you're playing on easy mode, but with style. You get this weird mix of big scary monsters who just keep bouncing back no matter how much punishment they take. It's like they have 9 lives, but instead of cats, it's giant ancient spirits. Melting Remnant's burnout mechanic gives you the thrill of summoning non-stop. It's like you're a boss throwing an endless rave, but instead of music, it's fire and destruction. The Lady of the House is basically the party queen of this clan. She starts off strong and can get ridiculously buffed in no time. And don't forget the Devourer of Death, who's the kind of unit that makes you smile wickedly because you know your opponent's about to have a really bad day. What's fascinating about these clans is how they each demand different mindsets. Lazarus League is for the tactical alchemist who loves mixing potions and possibilities. Pyreborn suits the treasure hoarder and melee strategist. Awoken is perfect if you want giant healing beasts to soak up damage while looking epic. Melting Remnant calls out to the summoner who just wants to flood the battlefield with fiery chaos. And if you're thinking about which one to pick for your next run, just remember, mastering the Lazarus League is like learning a new language. It's tricky, but once you get it, you're fluent in chaos control. Pyreborn rewards patience and planning, slowly building unstoppable power. Awoken offers a powerful balance of offense and defense with their giant units and healing magic. And Melting Remnant? Well, they're your go-to if you want to summon until your enemies can't even catch their breath. So yeah, these clans might not be the absolute top tier gods of Monster Train 2, but they're definitely not to be underestimated. Each one offers a unique flavor and style that can completely change how you approach the game. Whether you're mixing potions, stacking treasure, healing giant monsters, or burning the place down with endless summons, there's something here that will scratch your strategic itch. At the end of the day, the beauty of Monster Train 2's clan design is that even B-tier picks like these can shine bright if you get creative and learn their quirks. So go ahead, dive into the Lazarus League's mysterious brews, stack that Dragon Horde with the Pyreborn, embrace the giant healing power of the Awoken, or just set the battlefield ablaze with the Melting Remnant's endless summoning party. Your opponents won't know what hit them until it's already too late. The clans in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Lunar Coven and Banished. Alright, imagine you just left the Underlegion's chaos behind. Yeah, that wild ride is over, but don't get too comfy because we're diving right into some seriously solid A-tier clans that pack a punch with their broken combos. Trust me, these aren't your average squads. They bring some spicy new tricks to the table. First up, let's talk about the Lunar Coven. If you haven't met their champion, Ekka, you're in for a treat. This lady is basically a walking spell factory. The Lunar Coven's whole shtick revolves around this cool mechanic called phasing the moon, which sounds poetic but actually means you get to stack tons of conduit, turning your spells into absolute nuclear bombs. Just imagine launching fireballs that basically say, "Bye bye enemy troops." The catch? You need some tough frontline defenders to make sure your spellcasters don't get squashed like bugs while they're charging up their magical fireworks. Switching gears to the Banished clan, these guys are kind of like the friendly neighbor who also happens to be a martial arts master. Their champion Fel is a beast, especially when you stack Shift and Shift enablers on her. For those wondering, Shift is a cool buff that gives Fel extra turns, basically letting her punch and kick way more than usual. Add some Valor to boost her martial skills and pile on regenerative armor, and Fel becomes a one-woman wrecking crew. Boss fights? Pfft, she'll solo those like it's a casual stroll in the park. What's great about the Banished is how approachable they are. If you're still wrapping your head around Monster Train 2's mechanics, this clan is your best friend. They don't overwhelm you with crazy combo spaghetti. Instead, they let you get comfortable while still feeling powerful. Plus, stacking all those buffs just feels downright satisfying. It's like building a superhero in a game where the only limit is how much you can stack your stuff. Back to Lunar Coven for a sec. Their unique moon phasing mechanic really sets them apart. You're basically riding this magical tide that boosts your spell power with every phase. Combine that with a squad that's all about buffing spells and you have a team that's not just playing the game, they're rewriting the rulebook. But heads up, without solid frontliners, your spellcasters might get wiped before you can say conduit overload. So yeah, if you're hunting for clans that mix fun and power with a bit of strategy, Lunar Coven and the Banished are definitely ones to keep on your radar. Whether you want to blow stuff up with spells or smash bosses with martial prowess, these two have got your back. Just remember to protect your spell buff crew with some sturdy tanks in Lunar Coven, and keep stacking those shifts and valor buffs on Fel if you're rolling with the Banished. Alright, I'll let you get back to building those decks, but seriously, these clans are not just strong, they're downright entertaining to master. Keep experimenting, and soon enough, you'll be wrecking bosses and enemies alike like a total pro. The clans in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Underlegion. Alright, let me tell you about the absolute powerhouse clan in Monster Train 2 that just makes everything else look like practice. The Underlegion. If clans were high school cliques, these guys would be the cool kids who bring the party and actually win the game. No contest. The Underlegion is basically all about flooding the board with fungal friends who don't just look cute, they hit like a truck with spikes, decay, and a whole mess of nasty tricks that make your enemies wish they stayed in bed. Now, when it comes to picking your champion, you're spoiled for choice between Bolete the Guillotine and Madame Leon's main. But honestly, Bolete steals the show. Why? Because his rally buffs give your dudes a permanent +1 attack and +1 health. Imagine a bunch of little mushroom minions that keep getting stronger every time they rally. Soon enough, your army turns into a terrifying stomping fungus fest. It's not just powerful, it's downright fun watching your guys grow into unstoppable bruisers. The Underlegion isn't just about brute force though. You're combining that relentless fungal swarm with abilities like Trample to crush anything in your path, Spikes that punish attackers, Decay to rot away enemy forces, and Sap to weaken the toughest opponents. Plus, if you manage to snag the Puffball card and pile on buffs, your fungal army will be so ridiculous that even the brutal Seraph Corruption at Covenant 10, the hardest boss fight in the game, won't stand a chance. Seriously, it's like watching a fungus-themed demolition crew go to work. So yeah, if you want a clan that's all about overwhelming your enemies with sheer numbers and relentless buffs, Underlegion is your go-to. It's the perfect combo of strategy, chaos, and how did these little mushrooms just demolish my whole deck moments. Trust me, once you go full fungi rally mode with Bolete leading the charge, you're in for one wild, hilarious, and totally victorious ride. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.